Good evening and welcome back to the bird room for a quick rundown of what's been happening since our last episode 2 weeks ago. And to be absolutely honest with you, not very much change. The birds are shitting, the birds are eating, the birds are molting. Worst time of year, I hate this time of year. Molting birds is stressful, feathers everywhere, and not good for my asthma. So in the birds themselves, we've got one or two still canaries, actually 3 English cinnamons at the top, cage number 3. I'm not, sounds a bit silly, but she's got an nest pan in. I'm not letting her go to nest, although I've put a nest pan in. The reason is I had chicks in there. I started plucking the young uns as though she wanted to go back down again. She never did want to go back down. She just, obviously at that point when she was plucking the young uns, she might have done then. So that'll be coming out today. Cage number 2. She's got a couple of young uns in there, as you can see in this video. They're doing an absolute stunning job of bringing them up. Even though there's one of them that is a really big bird, some would say the Norwich type. Feeding and doing a sterling job. In cage number 1, she's on eggs, and I've not candled them. She went down. She was late edition again, going down. The last round that she had, she didn't really do very well at bringing them up, which is a bit ironic really, considering the previous nest she brought up brilliantly. It just happens, and it is getting that time of year where the birds are getting tired. I'm getting tired. And I wish they would all just hurry up. I know I could, which I've done with some of the fives, just whip the nest pans out regardless if they've just built up and laid eggs. I've got enough fives, I've got enough birds I've bred for this year, for stock for next year, for some for showing. I'm just done with them. In these 2 years, my couple of mulling pairs, they're both on eggs. I don't think they're going to be full because I didn't run the cockbirding enough. I had him in one night with that side, I had him in one night with that side. He smashed the egg again in that side, and I thought, you know, and it gets to that point when you think to yourself, when you're not on it like you usually are, you know it's time to start wrapping them up. So I'd say 95% of the birds are now split off. I think there is 1 pair of fives, 2 pairs of fives on eggs. One of them is my saddleback that she did a really good job. I really like the young ones off first. She brought a couple up in the first round, 3 up in the second round, and I thought, you know, she's done a good job. If she wants to go back down, I'll let her go back down. She's only got 1 full egg in there, and ironically, usually I'd take it out, but just to finish it off, I'll leave her be. All the red poles are separated. I had red poles wanting to go back down. Same again, they're just molting. It's a waste of time. You're not going to get anything while the birds are in the molt. If you get full eggs and the eggs hatch, the hens will not feed properly. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had them feed before. But every single time I've had them, when they are in the molt, they've never fed properly, and the birds always end up dying. Always. I've never been successful in an hen bringing birds up when they're in the molt. Never ever. Over the 30 odd years I've had birds, it's never happened for me. So you just set yourself up for disaster really if you are trying to do it. Not saying it won't happen, but what I'm saying is majority of the time they'll just give up. They've got to look after themselves more than what they've got to look after the young uns. Everyone knows molt is a stressful time. That's where majority of the time, if you've got weakness in your birds, you will lose them. As you can see behind me, if you can see, this row here has got majority of the red poles in there. There's still a couple in the other side with a couple of them. Well, there's more than a couple. There's a few in the other side with the mules on Carafel red, but that side's full, so I'm having to use these cages here. As you can see straight behind me right there is Carafel red for the red poles. Also, there's a couple of golden mules in there, which I'll show you very shortly. I'm quite happy with them. We'll see how they molt out anyway. All the rest of the fives, whether it be the adult birds or young birds, are all separated. What I've started to do now with the young birds is put them into the groups of mainly twos, just because I don't want them pulling each other if I'm intending on showing them. So what I usually do is put them in the flight cages next door, selectively pick them as I'm in there. If I'm feeding them, I'll see one that catches me, I'll take it out and put them in here. Usually I like to keep them in the family groups, but when you put them into flight cages without looking at your records every 5 seconds, you don't know. And majority of the birds, if they're going to be any good, they're going to be related anyway. Excuse me. Also, the adult birds, this is one thing that I haven't really mentioned much of. The ones I've kept, as you know, I've started to get rid of a few of the adult pairs, only because of the room. But you need to look after them equally as well as the young ones, because they're your breeding stock. Whether you keep them or not, they're still your breeding stock. Whether they're not for you, if you do pass them on, you need to look after them for the next person that may be buying them. So treat them exactly the same as what you would your young birds or your birds that you're going to be exhibiting later on in the year. The birds themselves, they both go through the same stresses of molting. So one thing, and I've seen it before, whereas, you know, you chuck the adult birds in a flight and don't look after them as what you would with the younger birds, but you've got to look after them. Think of it this way: all that effort you've gone to get them into breeding condition to breed off them, it's them that is the foundation of your line of birds. So make sure you look after them just as much as what you would the young birds. Right, so quickly just on to, I'm just going to go to the greenfinches, because basically that's all that we've got at the minute. Actually really still in the nesting condition. We've only got two pairs on eggs now. I know one in flight number 3, she's got a couple of eggs that are full, because I checked them a while ago. And I've got another one which I've not even checked. I've not been in. Not laziness, busy. You know, I'm saying it's summer. It doesn't bloody seem like summer, but this is my busiest time of year. And it's just a matter of getting in there and candling them, which takes 5 minutes to do. I know that, but like I said, with molting now, feathers everywhere, it's just not ideal for me. In and out. We've also got one. She's right behind the camera. I'm not going to show you. You've seen it in a few clips over the last few weeks. She's got 3 young'uns in the nest now. In fact, one jumped about an hour ago while I was coming in, and I lifted up just to have a quick look, and it's bolted the nest. But she's got still 2 in the nest, and she's done again a brilliant job of bringing them up. So hopefully the rest of the birds in the flights will finish off. I know this flight here, flight number 1, one of them is started to molt. I do believe it is the hen. Now this hen, as you remember from the last episode, I swapped with flight number 2, changed the cocks around to give them a bit of diversity. Clear eggs. Don't make sense. That cock's filled them eggs and that cock's filled their eggs. Like I said, it could be the fact that it's that time of year. Flight number 2 had eggs, hatched 5, throw them straight out of the nest. Well, she didn't, she threw 3 out. I picked one up off the floor, still alive, popped it under one of the cages with a young one in. She chucked it out. Only actually, after looking, had black spot, and same as the ones when I picked them off the floor of the flight, black spot, which is a bit ironic really, considering none of them have had black spot. They've all done the job. Even this hen that was in flight number 1, flight number 2 at this point was in flight number 1 before. She brought the young ones up brilliantly. It is that time of year, different cock could spur on. some sort of bacterial issue, and that's where that comes from. Again, not an issue. It's probably for the best. I always say this, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not that bothered. Realistically, I want to get them finishing the flights, strip the flights out, clean them, and start getting the adult birds in there. Adult greenfinches, maybe some of the hybrid pairs, get them in there, molt them out stress free. So the sooner the better really, and maybe next week, we'll see how it gets on. I'm going to quickly show you a couple of the young birds now from inside our bird room that are currently in the beginnings of the molt, but so far I'm really happy with them. Start off with this goldfinch. Now I'm a bit concerned about this bird. Put it on the show bench, it might get looked at as a Siberian cross, and you all know I don't keep Siberian goldfinches, never have. I'm not saying never will, but it just looks a bit longer now. Well, you know why the reason is because the type of birds I use for muling with are Yorkie cross Norwich, which are slightly longer, but it'll fill out. So we'll see. It's going to make a lovely bird. I would say almost definitely it's a buff bird, but feather quality on it second to none, and that comes from the hen bird. The second bird, as you will see here, is the nest mate to it. Again, lovely feather, smaller bird. Like I said, nest mate, happy with both of them. The next one, as you will see now, is we've got a couple of mealies. One Isabel, one normal. The normal one, unfortunately, we didn't get the ring on. I'm not bothered, it's breeding stock for next year, but the Isabel, the feather on this, and I'll keep going on about feather, but the feather is like silk. Even after catching it and putting it in the show cage, it's a lovely bird. I'm not too bothered about the steadiness at this point. They've never been in a show cage, straight out of the flight cage just here, into a show cage, just for me to have a quick look and share that with you guys. But like I said, over the moon with them this year. The other ones are in the other bird room, molting out, look an absolute mess. Not going to show you them while they look a mess, just makes me look stupid. But these ones are in the beginnings of a molt. They were the last ones in the nests that we had over this side, so they're not as bad into the molt like the others are. Anyway, that is it. Just a quick roundup for this week. There's one thing I'm going to put to you. Tell me if you, in the comments, if you would like to see it. It is basically, and it's not something that everyone's going to like, is a comparison of using my soak seed and egg food mix, or what I say, rearing mix, to the Unifeed Unica type feed, Pearl Mobile. I've tried both, and I've got my opinions on both rearing types. And if you want to hear the truth on them, let me know, and I'll do it in the next episode. I have started to actually do this, but I thought to myself, it's going to really turn some heads, because realistically I was selling this type of stuff, and as a business you shouldn't really slag products off you use. They're not my products. I'm just going to tell you what my honest opinion is on them, if that's what you want to see. Comment below and let me know, and I'll give you the rundown of what I believe is the best rearing / egg food that you can mix. And I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. If you have liked the video, make sure you give us a thumbs up. That lets me know that you are enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm not just blabbering on far too much, because I know I can do. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. Anyway, that's it from me today. Any questions, leave them in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget, let me know if that's what you want to see, and if it is, I'll finish the video off, and hopefully you'll enjoy that too. Thanks for watching.